Hello and welcome. My name's Kathy A. And some of you may know me from my other YouTube channel. This is actually my second channel. And my first channel, Kathy, well, I can't really say what it is right now because it's hijacked. It's completely hacked and hijacked. And it has been for about 6 months now. I have been trying desperately to get back onto YouTube and to upload videos and to try to find some normalcy in life and put it back together again. It's been quite a long, difficult ride, and I thought I'd explain the story in this video. Now, this subject is very emotional for me, and it's been a really difficult time. I've attempted to film 6 times so far. This is my 7th attempt to talk about the hacking, and I just thought I'd get it out there because it may help one of you to be just a little bit more cautious when you click on an email or you go to a website or you reply to a message that comes in. Since I've made several other video attempts at this, I'm actually going to use excerpts from them to explain various parts of the story. Hacked. Take 6. It's been about 6 months since I have been able to upload a video onto YouTube. And why is that? My YouTube channel was hijacked. My phones have been hacked. My computer was hacked. I have absolutely no online presence right now at all. Through the miracle of some technicians and some other people's stuff and some other people's phones and computers and things, I'm able to do this on my new channel. I had to start over from nothing. My entire channel no longer belongs to me. How did this happen? I want to preface this with the fact that I'm like no stranger to technology. Since the 1990s, I've used computers. I used to sell on eBay back in the 90s. When it first started, it was 25 cents for an auction. I had cell phones since they were real big things with antennas on. I've had numerous programs, Word, PowerPoint, Access, Excel, Photoshop type of programs, a lot of different types of apps, and I've had different types of phones as well. I've had iPhones and Motorola's and Samsungs, and so I'm familiar with them. I didn't go into the back real guts of the settings, but I knew how to navigate through all of the things. I knew how to use the apps that were installed. I created videos and uploaded them after editing them and adding transitions and music and everything else, and I had a YouTube channel. I was monetized. I had an Amazon store. I had created in 2014, I had my own makeup company briefly, and I created a website by myself using Yahoo's Site Builder, and it had a shopping cart on it and everything. So I know how to write HTML as well. I don't ramble through technology completely clueless. That being said, I was really careless about how I navigated on the internet. I did not ever have a screen lock on my phones. I did not ever have any kind of a passcode or screen lock on my desktop or laptop computers. And anything I scanned into my computer, I just left it there. It wasn't in a locked, secure file. In my phone, I took pictures of the front and back of my license, picture of my Social Security card, picture of my Medicare card, picture of I'm a notary public in Connecticut. I took a picture of that certificate. In case I was on the road and had to notarize something, I could show them my certificate, because it's numbered and all that stuff. I just had them on my phone in just document files, the passwords that I had for 32 websites I regularly visited. There were 2 banks, there were my credit card, PayPal, Amazon, of course, YouTube, and I had 2 YouTube channels. I had a private one that had all of my personal movies on it, family Christmas movies, my wedding, my father's funeral, my ex's parents' funerals, going to the amusement park, walking dogs in the Berkshires. I mean, there were a lot of private videos. That was not really a public channel. That was called Catherine Collins. And my beauty channel was started back in 2013. I just really enjoyed making the videos. Basically, a perfect storm of events happened all around the same time that all led to me being hacked, possibly from 2 different ways. For the last couple of years, I have been doing research on the indigenous people, First Nation, tribal nations, and some of the history in this country and in Canada, which is pretty horrific, by the way. And one of the aspects of it was boarding schools. The parents would go to prison if they didn't send their children to these schools. I mean, it was pretty horrible. Anyway, I was going to do a 5-part series on indigenous peoples, and I started it with the boarding school video. And it took years of research, 2 years to be exact, of research. And I'd gotten everything done. I wrote a script, and I was going to make it like a slide presentation. I needed some more images, and I'd gotten to the end and where Canada got involved, and they had the schools, and then they found all of the buried children next to the schools, unmarked graves. So I went on searches on my desktop computer I would put in a search like dead child in the woods, child defending themselves from sexual attack, hitting child. I guess to somebody else looking at the types of searches I was making, they would think, I got a really dark side, you know? It's like, what's going on with this person? What are they doing? Am I on some kind of Corey list or something? You know, the sites I went on, I think I may have gone on to a very compromised website. But I soon had problems with my computer. Programs were turning themselves off or crashing, and then I got one of those weird flashing warnings saying, your computer is infected, call this number. I knew that that was a scam. I know that's a scam. But what I did do is I disconnected everything. I turned everything off and disconnected it, and I had my computer inspected by a computer store technician. And for $100, they took out a lot of malware and spyware, they said. There was a lot of corrupted files and spyware and malware on my desktop in both drives. So he said he thinks they could very well have downloaded a lot of those important documents. And what he didn't tell me, and what I found out much later, was that they had created ransomware files out of really important documents, like my tax statements and things like that. And a ransomware file is when you gather a bunch of important files and you put them in a folder on the computer and you lock it with a passcode. And unless you know the passcode to unlock it, you can't have access to any of those forms. And they didn't contact me to tell me, you know, send us $500 in gift cards and then we'll tell you the passcode to open up and get your documents back. They had 8 or 9 of those ransomware files in my computer. My birth certificate, my high school diploma, my parents, both of their death certificates, a band award I got. I mean, it was just crazy. There was a job application on one of them, and it had all of the references that I use, and it had all of my skill sets listed and where I worked previously, because I wanted to keep a running list of places I worked and the skill sets I had in case I went for a job. I would pick and choose which things I wanted to put on the new application for the new job. And, I've been working, for the past 2 years, so I haven't really even gone into those files. So this all happened around December, and the files are dated in late December. So this is all around the same time that the warning came up and that my computer was crashing a lot. So I think that's when I was hacked into my desktop computer. The other part of the perfect storm is it's an election year. I never talked about politics on YouTube because it's a beauty channel. I mean, I talk about lipsticks and mascara and things like that. And Facebook is where I spouted out politically. And I was adamant I wanted my candidate to win, and I did not want that person to win. And I had, every single day I put a post, a funny cartoon or a meme or some kind of statement. I'd quote a statement that person said that wasn't terribly intelligent, every single day. And I also ripped apart Fox News. I said that they were, spreading lies, and, I was pretty vicious. I made those posts public. They weren't just going to my friends and family, they were public. So if somebody were to do a search on Facebook for anti-that candidate posts, mine would certainly have come up for them. And if it was a radical enough person with enough anger, they would have given my information with people who had connections to the dark web. I don't know. I was definitely on the dark web, and I was up for sale because I was a notary public. I was a U.S. citizen. I had a monetized YouTube channel, and I had various other accounts, credit cards, banks, and insurance, and everything. So identity theft was number one, and number two, of course, they always want to try to get money. Now on Facebook, I suddenly started getting friend requests from people I didn't know. I started getting on Messenger, which is Facebook's kind of private messaging service. I started getting all kinds of weird messages with links and things like that. And I had clicked on one of the messages and I said, "Who are you?" And apparently doing that is not a good idea. My Facebook account, I couldn't get into it, and it said I had the wrong password. And of course, I've used the same password for Facebook since I opened the account, so I knew that my password was correct, so something was going on. I was very suspicious. I did a recovery form, Facebook recovery form. I got in once, and I changed my picture to a cartoon going like this, and I said, "I've been hacked, I think. Please don't answer anything I ask you, or don't open anything from a friend request from me or anything. I'll try to straighten this out." And that was the last post I was able to make. And that was in, I think, March or April I did that. So I was pretty vulnerable. And I got 3 emails in a row from T-Mobile. And they were my phone carrier at the time. I had the Samsung phone through them. I was fairly happy with the service. There was no problem. It was a good deal. And I got this email, and it said, "We're just confirming that you changed your password." And I thought, well, I didn't change my password. I never changed my password. I've had the same password since I opened this account, And I didn't do anything about it. I just deleted it, And I thought, well, there's no way I changed my password. They've sent it to me in error. That's odd. So the second email that came from T-Mobile was only a few minutes later, and it said, "Just confirming that you've added a biofingerprint security to your account." And I thought, now that's really odd. Maybe I should call them. And then almost within a couple minutes after that, I just finished reading that email, and the next one came in, and it said, "Here's our online survey. Please let us know how your experience was with the agent." And I thought, I didn't talk to any agent. I didn't add a fingerprint. I didn't change my password. And so I clicked on the survey, which obviously released some kind of code or spider into my phone to look for documents, files, financials, and things. And it found them. My phone had an app in it called Samsung Pass, and it contained 32 websites that I visited often, had the username I used, the password to get in. So, and this was everything, you know, bank, Social Security, DMV, my Easy Pass, you know, for my tolls, to go through the tolls with the little transformer thing. It crashed on me. The phone just turned itself off. And I thought, oh my gosh. So I turned it back on and I looked up on Google, I looked up T-Mobile's customer service number. And of course I had to wait, you know, like 45 minutes listening to bad music. And finally I talked to somebody and they said, we don't send emails like that. So I knew something had happened because of that. But I didn't know what to do about it. And I went into the T-Mobile store where I said, you know, I think my phone has been hacked. I answered some of your emails and it crashed. And he said, well, what do you want to do? And I said, well, should I get a new phone? Should I get a new phone number? Should I, you know, he said, well, we could change the SIM card out. He said, that might help you. And I'm like, oh, okay. So they changed the phone number and the SIM card in that phone. So now my second step verification for all of my online accounts was that phone number I had, and the SIM card was in there with all that stuff stored. It got worse. I started to get emails from Google saying, here's your link to get back into your account. And they were all my Gmail accounts. I had 5 Gmail accounts. I had one associated with my personal YouTube website, and I had another one associated with my main beauty YouTube channel. And I thought, well, that's odd. I didn't ask for a link to get back in my account. I know how to get back in my account. I use the same password I've been using for 8-9 years now. And I ignored, and it said right on the email, if this wasn't you, just ignore this email. Someone probably put your email in by mistake. And really, Google, really, Google, come on. And I went to YouTube and it said that the password was incorrect. And I thought, well, that's odd. I haven't changed my password in 8 years. Why wouldn't it be correct? And so I had to ask for a link to get back into my own account. They sent it to my phone, I got it, I went back in and I changed the password to something new that I knew. And I then uploaded, you know, my newest video, which was Shop Miss A, which is an inexpensive makeup line. I did a full face demo and all this stuff. I got uploaded near the end of May. So usually YouTube will send me messages or emails stating that somebody had commented on my video. And when I get enough of those, I'll go back into that video and read them down and comment back to them. I like to reply to video comments. And I hadn't heard from YouTube in a few days at all. And I had just uploaded this video that I thought, you know, was pretty informative, and usually I would have, you know, 50 comments or so to a video or more, and nothing. I hadn't heard anything. So I went back into my account and it said password wrong. And this time when I asked for a link to get back in my account, it said, we'll send the link to your phone number on file ending in, it was like 111 or something. It was like, it wasn't my phone number. And I thought, what? And then I checked my email, and Google had sent me an email stating, we need more information on your account recovery form in order to verify that it's you. And I didn't start an account recovery form. So the hackers had started an account recovery form because I was trying to get back into my own account. And it just spiraled from there. seeing that my YouTube account was compromised, I started to look up online, what do you do? And they said, well, you fill out an account recovery form. And I went to fill out the account recovery form. And the first question was, what's your first name? The second question was, what's your last name? And I put, Catherine Collins, and they said there's no person by that name associated with a Google account or a YouTube account. Well, I tried Kathy A. I tried Catherine A. Fisher, my married name, because when I opened the account initially I was married and it was under Fisher. Nobody under that name. Google did not have any variant of my name associated with a YouTube account or a Google account. The hackers had completely erased me from the account. It wasn't mine anymore. Even though I'm the person in the videos, I'm the one who uploaded them for 11 years. 11 years. None of those videos are under my control on YouTube anymore. So all of those emails that I was getting saying, here's your link to get back in your account, I didn't pay attention to them. I didn't think that it was me. I thought somebody keeps typing in my email by mistake. I wonder why they're doing it. And there's lots of Catherine Collins in the world. There's lots of Catherine Fishers in the world. My own sister-in-law was Catherine Fisher. So it was like, I thought it was, I tried to believe that it was just an accidental thing. But when I couldn't get into my YouTube account, I mean, the hair stood up on the back of my neck and I got sweaty and shaky. And I realized that I lost my channel. Because I know that once this happens and you fill out your form, you put your first name in, you put your last name in, and they don't have it associated with you, you're kind of sunk. You can't do anything about it. So they have this thing on X where they say, talk to the team YouTube on X. Well, I sent them an email about it, but never heard back from them. And it just got worse and worse. YouTube won't even talk to you. There's nowhere to talk to on YouTube at all. There's nobody to talk to. So I went on YouTube and I put hacked down as the search, and all these people who had been hacked on YouTube came up with their stories. And Megan Ranks really affected me. She was a YouTuber who had over 2 million subscribers. I mean, I had like, at tops I had like around 18,000, almost 19,000, and when I was hacked, I think I was down to about 16,500, something like that. She had 2 million subscribers and a team of people, a manager and an IT person working for her. She got hacked. And she knows she got hacked because when she went in to look at her website to see if the newest video had views on it or comments, it was a different banner, a different person's name, a different person's picture, and there were all these little videos copied from TikTok and from other sources, and there was copyrighted shorts and things from other creators on her channel, and it wasn't her channel anymore, but it was her address to get to it. They had completely taken it over. And what they do is when they take over your channel, they sell it on the dark web. She said they only got $500 for this channel. She said, if I'd known that they were going to do this, I would have paid them $500 to keep my own channel. But the worst part about the whole thing is that they privatized all of her videos and removed them. And she never got them back. She wound up through 3 or 4 months of transactions getting her channel back. But she didn't get any of her videos back. And she had been on YouTube, I think, since 2010, something like that. She had been on longer than I was. And I thought, this is not good for me. A lot of the tech channels got taken over by other people. It was like it was a challenge, and they lost their channels. So what Google basically directs you to do, if you can't fill out the form for account recovery, they tell you to make a recovery YouTube account. So that's what this is. It's a recovery YouTube account because my account is still hijacked. And hopefully you'll help me out with that and subscribe or like or comment or something so that it can help me build my channel back up again. Because this happened on YouTube, I thought if they got into YouTube and my Gmails, they're probably into some of my other accounts. So I immediately went to my bank, Social Security, Medicare. I contacted all the financials. I froze my credit with all 3 credit monitoring systems, which also affected me. I had to buy all my phones outright. They couldn't finance my phones through the phone companies. I changed phone companies because I thought T-Mobile had done me wrong. And I changed phone companies. And I had 2 more phones with the next company. And then I bought 2 burner phones at the Walmart. You buy a phone, you say, I'm Jane Smith at 123 Main Street, you know, and you buy a card with data on it and use it. They sent a Trojan file to that phone. None of my accounts would open for me. But when I went to Amazon and I used my password, I got right in. I thought, well, that's odd. How come I got into Amazon? And I had 2 credit cards on file at Amazon. One was a very low balance card. It only had $15 or $20 in it. And that was really just to cover the monthly fee that Amazon charges for Prime members, you know, $14.99 or whatever it is. I always only kept like $20 in that, not more than that. And then my other card went to a checking account, which that was just a backup in case the other credit card for some reason didn't have enough in it. So they had positioned themselves as an added user to my Amazon account. And I only discovered it because I was trying to read in my account if there was anything fishy. My name was there, my picture was there, all of the information was correct. And then at the bottom, and I'd never seen this before, it said switch accounts on my Amazon. Check your Amazon. I clicked on switch accounts, and there was this silhouette and it said Catherine. And it was just sitting there. It was creepy. It was really creepy. And I don't know if they were waiting until I got more money in those cards that they could buy something big and send it somewhere. I don't know. But I closed my Amazon account. I closed my PayPal account. When I was talking to the bank, their fraud division took over, and what they did was they closed that account, opened a new one for me, but then the fraud division reopened the account for access to try to catch somebody trying to get in. And there were several attempts made after that account was closed to get in to check balances and remove money. I did everything from my phone. Everything from my phone. Everything was monitored, my ThredUp, you know, Sephora, Ulta, Kohl's, you know, all of my store cards, everything was on my phone. Unlocked, open, and now they got into that Samsung Pass and they had all my passwords and usernames for everything. Everything. As more and more layers happened, my phone was turning on and off randomly. It was hot. In the middle of conversations, it would just shut off. It would disconnect. When I was watching TV, it would buffer. It would just be black with the spinning thing in the middle. Everything was bad. I had to return my Wi-Fi equipment, everything, and I unattached my desktop computer from the modem. And I went to another carrier. And I went to AT&T in the store. They got everything all set up. Everything seemed fine. And all of a sudden, it was hot. It was using all this data. All these files in the back were full, and all these messages were there, but I couldn't get in to see what the messages were. I didn't have access. Everything was grayed out for me to look and see what was going on my own phone. I was locked out of my SIM card. I was locked out of the cloud. I was locked out of Gmail files. Everything. I couldn't get into anything on my phone. I could make a phone call, but then it was recording. The camera went on. So as I started to learn more about settings, I started to change things. I made it miserable for them, so they had to change things all the time. And I did a factory reset once a week And one day I did a factory reset 3 separate times. But it's also hard on me because I have to change all the settings, and there's a lot of settings in a phone, and you wouldn't believe in the settings how many things allow you control over the phone. I think they're there for parental control, so you know what your kids are doing, but if it's a hacker, they know what you're doing. And when they clone your phone, some real high technology, there's this thing called X-Helper, and there's Pegasus, and then there's a lot of similar type of high technology that makes hacking very easy. Teenagers are doing it in their mom's basement, you know, and they're using the data to do gaming, you know, because you use a lot of data when you're gaming. You use a lot of sound, video, and interactive stuff, so data is valuable. As an adult, your ID is valuable, and your bank account and stuff like that are really valuable. So there's a lot of reasons they want to steal your stuff, but there's not a lot in place on your side to help yourself keep them from being in the phone. Now my phone right now, it's my 11th phone. I have had 13 phone numbers, and every single one of them gets hacked into. And my 11th physical phone in 6 months. So that's an average of 2 phones each month. And I still can't get into my YouTube channel. And all of those videos, if you're watching them, if you comment on them or anything, the hackers are watching that. And they're contacting various viewers, various subscribers. So I would suggest you unsubscribe from that channel. It was mine. It's not mine anymore. I'm grateful that the videos are still up because I don't have a lot of those videos in my personal files anymore, and I don't have access to them. I was put onto the dark web to shut me up and shut me down, and they did. They shut me up and shut me down. Now when I was checking my Google account, in the security section you can manage devices, it says. You know, you check that. And there were all these different devices attached to my account. So I took IP addresses off of them, and they all went to a place, and this was back in June, they all went back to a place in 6th Street in Newcastle, Delaware, which is the Washington, D.C. area, and it said these numbers all belong to an unknown organization. Was that Fox News? Was that the Russians? Was that Hacktivists, which is a group that tries to disrupt elections? I don't know. But I had the address, I had the location. When I would put in, what is my location? And they'd say, Washington, D.C. area. And they would give me the weather. If I put pizza near me, I would get pizza parlors in Delaware. If I put in police near me, I would get the Washington, D.C. area. And it was like, I'm in Connecticut. Why is my phone in another state? So I took it to the Geek Squad. The Best Buy has the Geek Squad, and they're all iPhone people. They really are not a good place to take your phone if you are a Android user. And they just kind of looked at me cross-eyed like, oh, here comes another old lady that thinks she was hacked because the screen changed on her when she hit the wrong button. You know, it was that kind of an attitude, lots of eye rolls. Oh, that's normal. Oh, that's probably a default address. Let me change it for you, you know, and it takes it from me like I'm a 6-year-old and I don't know how to run the toy, you know. So he puts it in and he looked at it oddly, and then he changed, he said, there you go. And it said location, and it was the location of that particular Best Buy. And when I went out the door and got into my car and drove home, I went in and put pizza near me, and it came up Washington, D.C. again. So I got addresses of the people who own me. I got addresses and locations And I would put it in the background of the keyboard that you use on your phone. I put their address on the background, a map of where they are. And because of that, every month and a half I'm traded to somebody else. So every 45 days it seems I'm traded to somebody else. I was sold from an organization in Washington, which I think was politically motivated. I was sold to somebody in El Paso, Texas. I have their address. I have a picture of their house that I got from Google Maps. And then I think I annoyed them so much, they sold me to a guy on East 23rd Street in New York. And that building houses, ironically, a software company. I wonder if there's a connection here. Because they can use a phone bank of controlled phones. They can dial in all at the same time and crash a website. They can use our phones with our voices to advertise things, ask for money, scam people, and use our phone number to move documents and move contraband and move it, illegal stuff, maybe other people's stolen information, moving it in the background. I saw there was tons of information. My phone would be off, and I had do not disturb. I had airplane mode. I had no internet on at all. I had Wi-Fi off, Bluetooth off, and the mobile data off. I had all of my apps disabled, the ones that I can disable. When I woke up in the morning and I looked, I had all this new information in cache, all this new cache and storage on several of the apps, and Google Play Services had re-enabled itself, and it had given permissions to a lot of the odd apps, things like calculator and calendar and audio, to have the ability to turn the phone on and override Do Not Disturb. So it's kind of like having a pesky roommate in your phone. And I just have learned to live with it because I don't know when it's going to stop. I don't know why they're bothering anymore, because politics-wise, that scene is over. In November, the election happened, everything was done, so there's no more politics. And personally, I will never discuss politics online again, ever, after this experience, because I really do believe this whole hack was started, I think, because of politics. And my life got turned upside down, but my information is out there. And what's really weird is when I did a search of my name recently, I'm on a government watch list. So I filed with the local police, and they said, yeah, we'll put it in the report. They didn't do anything after that. It's not enough of a crime. I guess, in the broad spectrum of looking at life, there's a car crash, there's a fire, there's gunshots, and here's this old lady who can't get into her YouTube account. Where does that fall on the importance scale for a cop? So nobody took any interest in helping me. They said, well, contact, the FBI and fill out one of their forms. So I filled out the online form for the government. If you have identity theft or you've had money stolen from hackers, you fill out this form. But basically, all of the questions are geared towards people who actually had an experience talking to the hacker, or the hacker emailed them something, and it was like, who did you talk to? What was their email address? What was their phone number? How much money did they get? And it was like none of these things applied to me, because they stole my ID and they stole my YouTube channel. And it was like I had to put a long report in, 2 pages long, of what happened and what I did and what they did. And I took a lot of steps to try to stop them from hacking me. I had 4 carriers, 2 burner phones, as they call them, like drug dealers use, and I'm still hacked. It's 6 months later and I'm still hacked. And the biggest heartbreak for me has been, I can't get into my YouTube, and I've been seeing a lot of my viewers, my regular viewers, that write comments saying, I've emailed her 3 times and she hasn't gotten back to me. Does anybody know she's okay? And because I didn't have a Gmail account, I wasn't able to comment. So when I did finally, through a technician and through other people and other sources, was able to get this email for this account, I went back and commented and said, she's okay. I didn't want the hackers who were running that channel, because they would get an email saying somebody has commented. I had to say she is fine. She, got hacked. She is trying to come back, but not on here. And that's what I did. And I tried to talk to people without it seeming like it was me. It was just somebody who knew me and was being protective. One of the biggest crimes, besides the fact that they have all my information and can sell my information in Russia or wherever they're from, I was driving on a highway. There's plenty of towers around. And the truck in front of me had a big, long trailer. And at the top of the trailer, there was all this black smoke billowing underneath. It looked like it was on fire in the back of the trailer. So I thought, oh my gosh, that truck is on fire. And I got on my phone and I dialed 911 and I hit call. It rang once and then somebody hung it up. Now there was towers all over the place, so it wasn't like I was in a remote area and lost connection. Somebody hung that up on purpose. And I was like, and I'm driving, so I dialed it again and it rang 2 times this time, and then somebody hung it up again. And they're not letting me call 911. I was in a place, in a parking lot, and there was a lot of speed bumps, and a guy had missed a speed bump and careened into a light post on the corner, and the car crashed into it. So I got my phone out and I dialed 911, and again, it rang once and it was hung up. And I was near a tower, not too far from a tower. So I know it wasn't a reception thing. I wasn't out in the boondocks. So why wouldn't they let me dial 911? Because 911 will track your GPS to your location. And all those times when I opened my phone and it said I was on 23rd Street East, they would find them. And I thought, okay, fine. When I was in Vermont, about 2 weeks ago, I was in Vermont. I went to the King Arthur Baking Company because I'm really into baking and cooking. And I wanted to go visit their store and their restaurant and see the school that they had. And it's way up in Norwich, Vermont. It's really far up in the boondocks. And afterwards, I said, and I had a friend in the car with me, I said, why don't we go to Quechee Gorge? Because that's a really cool place and I can take some pictures and I can get another Vermont mug, because they have a little store there where you can get mugs. He didn't really know where it was, and he said, I think it's down this way. And I said, okay. So we started driving, and suddenly the back tires flop, 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 flop. I had a flat tire. So he got out and he started to try to fix it, and it was jammed on the rod that holds the tire on. He said, I can't get it. And I said, well, why don't we just call AAA or something? So he got on the phone to AAA, and they said, what's your location? He said to me, you know where this is going. He said, go on your phone and see what our location is, because it was just trees everywhere. We were in the middle of, I have no idea where I am, Vermont, and nothing was nearby. We were really surprised we had reception. We were parked in front of a abandoned house with no number on the mailbox. It was like a horror movie setup scene, really. So I get on my phone and put my location. And I said, we're on East 23rd Street. So he said, I'll put you on hold and I'll see if I can do it on my phone. So we were near a boat launch, so that was the tow truck driver knew where we were. But I mean, that's the kind of thing I'm dealing with right now. It's like, friends have said that I have changed since this happened to me. It's like, it's the only thing I want to talk about because it's so intrusive and it's such a huge part of my life. I can't believe it happened, and I can't believe it keeps happening. It's like the gift that keeps on giving. I'm like, how much more do you want to like take me down? You know, whoever you are, the hacker, if you're watching this, I don't get it. I'm a 66-year-old woman and I've never hurt anybody. And I understand if we don't agree politically, but everybody has a right to their opinion. Don't click on things for businesses. Call the business. If it's like T-Mobile, for instance, and they had that password thing, I shouldn't have opened that email. I should have called the real T-Mobile phone number, customer service, and said, I just got an email saying this. Had I done that, that might have stopped the whole process. But we're still back at my desktop with all of those ransomware files. So now my desktop is no longer connected to the internet and never will be again. It's got all my stuff on it. I've still got my pictures. I still have the physical copies of most of those forums they were going to ransomware me for. But I wanted to let you know I tried so many times to get a new Gmail account so I could come back on YouTube. On my phone is just the phone operations. And anytime I talk to somebody, I dial their number fresh each time, and I delete everything after the phone call. So that's where I am now, and I just thought I would share that with you. It does happen to everyday people. It's made me reset my life as far as my dependence on the internet. I would look up anything during the day, anywhere. I had everything on when I went outside. I had the Bluetooth on, I had Wi-Fi on, I used Spotify paired with my car speakers, and apparently they can turn your car engine off through your GPS. But I think that it seems like they're going quieter, so I'm hoping that that means they're going to give up on me, because they're not getting any money from me. There's nothing here. I don't have any contacts on my phone, I don't have any email on my phone. The voicemail goes to a trusted friend, and I just don't have anything on my phone for them to take except the data. I always call it data. I'm a Star Trek person. And all my accounts have been notified, and I don't have any money for them to take. I don't have credentials for them to use. My credit's frozen. So I did all the protective measures I was supposed to do. I went back and did a secondary police report after one of my phones. It was a Motorola phone, and I had it off. I had everything disabled. I had it on Do Not Disturb and airplane mode. It was off. It was in my handbag. I was driving. It suddenly turned itself back on, and it went, "Hello, Moto," to me. And I was like, this is like Twilight Zone. It's like a Twilight Zone episode. So I drove to the police station and I said, my phone just turned itself back on, you know, and to them, I just probably sounded like a hysterical, silly old lady. But to me, it was terrifying. Now, besides just regular phone calls, having problems, there were other issues. One of the main things was when I take a photo, I see on my phone that I have a photo on there, and I see the photo here, and when I connect it with a cord to my computer, all my previous phones, including this phone before it was hacked, I used to just take a cord and connect it to my computer, and I would transfer the photographs to the computer, and then I'd use them in videos, or I would use them in newsletters, or for storage for later use, whatever. On this phone, even though I can see the picture on the phone, when I connect it to another computer to transfer it, it says there's nothing on this device. There's no images on this device because they're stored on the hacker's phone. And I think they have an iPhone, but it's stored on their phone, not on mine. I can't do anything with my pictures except look at them here or take a picture of the picture with my camera. So I have to use my big, clunky, giant, camera if I want to get videos or photographs anywhere. So I'm using that right now to photograph here. During phone calls, not only did they disconnect, but oftentimes there'd be sounds in the background, either breathing or mechanical noises like computers going in the background, or whooshing motions like they're in somebody's pocket, or even, I don't know, it just seemed like there was somebody else there listening to the conversation. One time I thought I heard somebody go, "Ugh," like that when somebody was talking about a story. It was a male voice. So there's voices and noises and mechanical things going on in the background when I'm talking with somebody. And oftentimes, like, my voice will echo. I'll hear myself saying what I just said, and it's very distracting when you're talking and you're echoing. And on the other side, the person I'm speaking to, it happens to them also. So that's a big one, And then also there's times where I just sound like I'm underwater going, and it doesn't have clear conversation. Now, when I told the guys at Best Buy, I told the Geek Squad, they said, "Oh, it's because you're using mobile data, and that's not very good. You can't really rely on that for your phone conversations. You really need to have more like Wi-Fi and Bluetooth for those kinds of, if you want really good, clear reception." And I'm like, okay. I did talk to techs with all of my phone carriers, and I went online and I went to on the Quora website, lots of questions and answers about being hacked and how to get out of it and what they want and what they're doing and things like that. I did seek help. And I did get a lot of people tell me that they think something very high tech, like a government level technology, is being used. Every time I get a new phone, they get into it. Within an hour, they get into it and they're back again, depending on where I am when I get it changed over. It's usually by the time I come home. So people have said that it's because I have a pattern with the way I call people. I call the same few numbers, and I usually call from my home, so I'm using the same tower, and the towers talk to each other. If you ever watch any Edward Snowden videos on YouTube, you'll hear him talk about this, that the second you go outside your door, if you have Wi-Fi on or Bluetooth or anything like that, your phone is just shouting to connect with somebody else. So my pattern was constantly calling the same numbers. I do a wellness call check to somebody every day. I use the same towers because of where I'm located. And that's a problem because I'm not sure, I'm not going to move, and I'm not going to stop talking to my friends. So I got a little problem there with my patterns. And so now that I've had 11 phones and 13 different phone numbers, that's how the techs chose to help me. They said, well, you do factory reset, you're going to lose everything. That'll get rid of 90% of all the hacking, malware, spyware that's on your phone. Really? So when I do the reset and it comes back online, I go right away and turn off all the internet and Wi-Fi and data and Bluetooth, turn all that off, and then I start making sure all the settings are safe. First thing that happens is they lock the SIM card with a different passcode than what I was given. They then go in and turn on downloads and third-party sharing. They get onto the Wi-Fi 6 hotspot. Up to 10 devices are shared. They go right into all of the major settings with all the apps and make sure that they lock me out of the wallet. They lock me out of PAX notification. They lock me out of messages. They lock me out of contacts. They lock me out of several different, like Download Manager and CNE app, and there's several things that I can't even get into. They're grayed out. So, the techs, they help as much as they can, and the people that work in the stores, when you go to your store and you buy one, they know only so much. And they get constant people coming in saying, oh, I've been hacked, and all it is really is they hit the wrong setting, or they stopped something on their phone by mistake, or they maybe swiped across and the Google Discovery page came on or something like that. So, they just look at me like, you just don't know how to use your phone. And many of them said, wait till you get used to your phone first before you think you've been hacked. Just see how, because sometimes the phone has to have default settings in order to operate correctly. I'm like, okay. I've given them all the chances, 4 carriers, 2 burner phones, and then, with the burner phones, the customer service, they're reading scripts. You call and you get somebody from another country than yours. English is not their first language, and I don't begrudge anybody. I always admire people who can speak 2 languages. But when you've got a hacked phone and you need some help, they don't understand, they don't have a script for it. Just reset your phone and you'll be okay. And I'm like, that didn't help. It's more than this. There's something bigger than that. Is there some kind of protection you can offer? Consumer Cellular, they had the nicest customer service. They were the best. And they said, we can shut off the Wi-Fi hotspots from our end. And we can give you a new number. We can give you a new SIM card. They were very helpful, but none of the things have worked. So I'm thinking that this technology is coming from a very large and powerful organization. And since it is an election year, I do think it has to do with either Russia or the hacktivist group. And I think that they got quiet and everything's okay, and then all of a sudden, all of those emojis are enabled again, and all of the haptics are started up again. They want the haptics so they can see what I'm printing in for my password. So it's been a kind of an ongoing war. It's almost like an online game I'm playing, and the stakes are my phone. So I need a phone so that I can call for emergencies, so that I can keep in touch with a couple friends. I do the wellness call, and I do get in there once in a while. I'm able to watch a YouTube video. I watched YouTube videos as my entertainment because my TV and Wi-Fi, which were connected to an infected modem, I gave them all back to Xfinity, and I have no TV in the house now. It's really weird having this technology. And so I use my phone, I turn it on its side, and I watch everybody else's YouTube videos. So I've been keeping up with the Joneses, per se. I have been buying makeup, using it, trying it, and had faves and fails, but I didn't film any videos. I just wasn't focused enough to film videos, but I did try a lot of products. But I had to return all the bad ones because you have a 30-day window to return things in most cases. So I returned the fails. So by the time I got to November, I was able to do faves and flops for November, which I've done, and I did a makeover, and I'm working on getting some other videos pulled together. It's been very strange because I can't communicate with my old subscribers. It's difficult to communicate with other creators who are friends of mine. I don't have anybody's number anymore, or email, or message, phone number, or anything. I had a couple of addresses, and I wrote some letters to a couple subscribers telling them what happened. And I mean, it's been really, it's like living in an episode of that. Remember that TV show 24 with Kiefer Sutherland? It's kind of like that, It's just as soon as I think I'm clear, something weird happens on the phone. So as of this date, and it's December 2nd, I'm still hacked. So I did, if you can see it, I've got a piece of black tape over the in-facing camera because maybe I am a little paranoid, I don't know. I mean, they were filming in the early days when I had my first few phones that were hacked. They had the camera would come on, the light of the camera would come on, the microphone went on, and it said, that it was transcribing. And I knew that it was filming me, so I put a tape over just in case they try to do it again. I feel like I'm wearing like a virtual prison ankle bracelet. Those ones that beam out where you are all the time? I just feel like they know where I am all the time. This has a GPS built in it, and I was told even when you have your phone off, the GPS units can still be traced. So that was a little disheartening to hear about. Now I filed police reports, government reports, all the reports from my bank and, Social Security and my insurance and the DMV and all that. Everybody knows. Everybody knows about this. Nothing's online anymore. And I mean, they don't understand that it's so traumatic and it's so violating to have this go on as long as it has. It's like, wow, I never imagined it would still be going on in December. So I feel quite helpless as far as correcting it. So I'm trying to work around it. I'm trying to, using friends' equipment and stuff, I'm trying to upload videos on the site. So you'll be seeing some videos from me very, very soon. The profiles have varied, and there was an additional person who sent me a message, and I got their phone number from the message, and it had a corrupted file in it. I think it was like a Trojan file. But I got their phone number, and it goes to some guy in rural Georgia, and his phone is owned by this woman named Stacy, who, when I looked up Stacy and her name, I had her name, her address, everything. She's a very friendly looking, attractive woman, and I'm not sure if maybe this is part of why all the files are being sent up through my messages and through photos and videos, apps that they're using. There's a lot of activity in the background, even when the phone is powered down and nothing is on. Either it's a sexual thing, I don't know. But this guy in Georgia's in trouble now too, because I have addresses and names and all this other stuff. I have addresses in most of the people that have owned me or controlled my phone, and now, with a full report, I'm going to the state police and see if they can help me. They're not treating it like it's a crime scene. Now, if these people broke into my front door and stole these documents and ran out, that's another story. They would investigate, they would check it out. But because they did it virtually and stole all these documents and stole all my information and shared my stuff with other people, it's a virtual crime. And they still don't really have anything down for this kind of thing. What's really scary is that I can't do anything online. These people are just they've really infiltrated my life, and it's like, I don't know why it started. I don't know when it's going to end. And it's just a horrible, horrible feeling. And I don't know if it's happened to any of you, if you've been hacked or if you've been compromised in some way. A lot of people are getting hacked on Facebook, because right now a lot of people are sending multiple friend requests out, or somebody who's hacked into their account is doing it. That's what happened to me. Somebody hacked into my account and they're sending multiple friend requests out. And then they're hacking into their accounts, and then maybe they're getting the messages that I got in my email that made me click on them and then put the code into my phone. So but I mean, I've done everything I think I can. If I take it back to the computer shop, they charge like $60 an hour to work on a hacked phone, and there's no guarantees they're going to get everything out. Because the second I bring it home, they seem to be able to find me quite easily. So that's why phone after phone gets hacked. And when I say that I've had 11 phones in the last 6 months, they look at me like I'm wearing a tinfoil hat. So with that, I mean, there are certain apps that this person likes to have full control over. The download manager, photos and videos has got the most extreme amount of cache and storage, and I don't have anything in it. And there's nothing in it for me to see. So whatever they've done with the cache and storage and the usage of data, it's all been used with these apps, and there's nothing on them, and they're all disabled on my phone. So it's very, very weird, but over 7 gigabytes of data was moved within the last just 1 week. And it's very annoying to me because I have to pay for an unlimited data plan, which with consumer cellular is a little expensive. It's like $55. Whereas normally I wouldn't use very much data at all, and I could get a much less expensive plan. I was learning a lot about settings in my phone from this experience. In a way, I'm kind of grateful for that. But I'm most grateful and blessed because I do have my health. I do have food in the pantry. I have my rent paid. I have a car. I have a job. I have friends and family. Knock on wood. So, I mean, I'm trying to look at the positive things and the good things in life, and I'm trying to not let this override all the good things that are going on in my life compared to a lot of other people who have suffered from floods and fires and hurricanes and things like that. I am in pretty good shape. So this online nonsense, hopefully we can get a grip and get hold of it. Maybe they'll get tired of me making them change the settings all the time, not having anything on my phone for them to steal. Maybe they'll just get tired of that. So it's kind of an empty phone except for what they're doing. And I'm so scared that I'm getting credit for stuff that they're doing because they're using my phone number, which is registered to me. And maybe that's why I'm on a government watch list. I don't know. I mean, I could be on the government watch list because I filed that report, that IC3 report. So anyway, thanks so much for your patience. And if you're still watching at the end of this video, thank you so much. You are awesome, and I miss you so much. I miss being on YouTube. I miss my subscribers. Many of you, I felt like you were my family. And I feel so bad because I wasn't able to contact you, and the only way you can contact me is through my old email addresses, which none of them are any good. They're all run by hackers. In fact, the hackers continued on and made more email addresses using variants of my name in case people thought I was coming back with a different email address. I don't have my name in my email address, just so you know. And anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you can, because that will help me grow this little channel up to, hopefully at least up to what I was before I got hacked. And I hope you are all well, and I have missed talking with you, and I have been reading your comments, and I have been checking back at the different videos to see what's going on. So I'm in the background, but hopefully someday I'll be in the foreground. And very, very soon you're going to start seeing a lot of videos coming out. Okay? So, thanks again. Have a wonderful week. Have a wonderful holiday. And have a beautiful day. Take care. Toodles.